And one of the first things I remember, as far as the Panthers and Liberation School and stuff, I remember we went on a field trip one time, and you know, it wasn't just all black people and all black kids, because you know we're in Seattle. There's nothing. You rarely see something that's all black here. It was Asian kids, you get a couple white kids, you know, a whole lot of black kids, but it was a whole lot of different folks that were taking advantage of these services, you know. So one field trip was to the zoo. Another field trip we went to go see King Kong. Another field trip we went to like a museum of some kind. I don't remember where exactly it was at. We went to a museum, you know. But my memories of Panther School is that people always treated you like they loved you, you know, like they loved black kids and like they loved black culture, because they appreciated having you there. You know, they would feed us, and they always talked nice to us. They didn't call us out of our name. Now, if you got out of line, you would get checked, but they just treated you like they loved you. And it wasn't necessarily something that was said, you know. It was just something that you felt and that you knew. So when I started going to public school...
was the Liberation School, was the philosophy also taught there? Were there academics?
Yeah, there were academics there, but because I was so young, I was like 3,
Okay.
you know. I just remember the sights, you know, like the coloring books, the revolutionary coloring books and whatnot, and those images, the environment they created, because they knew you're young. So, you know, you can't read a big Malcolm X novel or a Sada novel or Cuba, you know what I'm saying? They knew they had to give you the visuals, and the visuals stuck with me. It really stuck. I remember the picture of Malcolm X being up, the big picture of Malcolm X pointing, you know, this one. The stuff about Joanne Chesimard, a.k.a. Assata Shakur, all that stuff, all those visuals. And it really, because I'm a visual person, I'm a visual artist also, it really stuck in my head strong. Those pictures of the sisters with the big afros. And there was a different type of sister that was in the Liberation School and affiliated with it was a different type of sister from who I meet nowadays, you know. Yeah, I'm not trying to, you know, put one over the other, but it was just a different kind of sister. So it kind of put in my mind a very, very, very high standard for sisters. You know what I'm saying? Very high standard, intellectually, and as far as conduct, and as far as presentation, you know. So those are some of the things that really stuck in my head that I never forgot, you know. The type of sisters, the way they looked, the way they conducted themselves, the way they interacted with us and treated us, you know. So I had a certain expectation when it comes to, you know, dealing with sisters, you know, whether they be an elder, you know, a companion, any type of, I had, you know, had a certain expectation. So then I go to public school, and I didn't find none of that. You know, we had some black teachers, but they didn't act like the people were at Liberation School. The environment that was at Liberation School, the pictures that you saw, the music, it was sure wasn't at public school, so it kind of messed me up, created like a void in my head. You know, I had to catch up and figure out what was going on, you know. And my mom, she was just like, oh, just get along. Just, you know, don't stop talking all that black stuff. Just get along and just listen to what the teachers have to say, you know. And then the next thing I noticed was that they were telling a different story from what was going down at Panther School. Because, you know, it was just different. It was just they didn't talk about Christopher Columbus at Panther School. You know, they didn't talk about George Washington. They didn't talk about Crispus Attucks being the first Negro to die in the Revolutionary War. That just wasn't the conversation. So I was like, and for a while, it created, I wasn't good in school. And they, you know, my mom used to say stuff like, oh, well, you act like you're retarded or blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, well, I'm not feeling this. This is way too different from going over to Elmer and them's house, you know what I'm saying? Aaron's house, you know, knowing Aaron's son, little Aaron. This is a way different environment, you know. So I turned off, and I was like, Ed. Called me Ed, because I was getting E's and D's all the time, you know. And I didn't really turn back on until, like, I'm going to say 10th grade. And I read the autobiography of Malcolm X. But between, I'm going to say from, like, 2nd grade all the way to, like, 10th grade, I turned off to education. And I was just, you know, I would do my art and stuff, you know. And I didn't really figure out till I went back and wrote my actual autobiography why I was so turned off to education, you know. And I said, oh, okay. So it was a switch from this black curriculum to this other type of curriculum, you know.